What's up, folks? My name is Sami Ghawi, and in this video, I'm going to show you a very simple way to play fingerstyle rhythm on guitar. Now, it's important to mention that I started playing guitar on a 1965 nylon string that I permanently took from my dad. And I don't remember ever playing with a pick in the early years. And most of the chords that I played, as any beginner musician would do, were the open chords, kind of like E major, G major, C major, and so forth. And in the beginning, I was doing stuff like downstrokes with my thumb, upstrokes with my index, and soon I realized that I can combine those two strokes plus a smack stroke, a silent stroke, to create something that I ended up calling the Jim and Jack rhythm. Mostly because it sounded like Jim and Jackin', Jim and Jackin'. But not every song that I wanted to play could be played with the Jim and Jack rhythm, which is predominantly a rock and roll rhythm. I wanted a little more control and separation between the strings. And as soon as I figured out that if I placed my playing hand as if I was giving someone the thumbs up, I had a lot more control over what I was doing. Let me show you what I call the thumbs up method of playing rhythm guitar. It's actually very simple. The first thing you need to do is give somebody the thumbs up. Put your hand in a thumbs up position where your thumb is vertical, pointing upwards, and the other fingers are like in a fist. There you go. The next thing you need to do is turn your wrist where your thumb is actually parallel to a string. Now, the strings that you can start with are the low E string or the A string. And something important to remember is whatever chord you're playing, whatever the root of that chord is, that's where you want your thumb to land on, that string. So for example, if you're playing an A or an A minor, an A major, the root is going to be on the A string, so put your thumb parallel right on top of the A string. If you're playing an E major or E minor, you want your thumb parallel to the low E string. First thing. The next thing to do is with your index, middle, and ring finger. Now it's in a fist right now, right here. What I'd like you to do is just open them up just a little bit so that they're falling right slightly underneath the strings. In this case, I'm using the D, G, and B strings, like this. So you were in a fist, like that. Your thumb is extended, and I just kind of opened my fingers up so that they locked in, they kind of fell in between the strings, but you want the tips of your index, middle, and ring finger right below the D, G, and B strings. Now you can also do the same with the G, B, and E strings, but for now, let's just focus on the D, G, and B strings, like that. Now remember, you're not going to place them completely inside the strings, because that just looks ridiculous and you won't be able to do anything. Remember, just the tips right underneath the strings. So what we have is your thumb resting on the root note of a chord, let's say A minor. So the thumb is resting on the A string, and your index finger is right below the D, your middle finger is right below the G, and your ring finger is right below the B, like this. Now make sure that your thumb is extended as far as you can, but you're still comfortable. Something that I like to do is drop my wrist right on the bridge of the guitar, almost like I'm resting it on the bridge, not on the strings, but resting it right there, so I have a little bit more control over the position of my thumbs up. So you don't have to have it resting on the bridge, but I think it's a good place to start just so you have a little bit more control and that thumbs up position really locks in. So how to play? What you can do is you're gonna pluck down with your thumb on the root note of your chord, and with your index, middle, and ring finger, you're gonna simultaneously pluck inwards towards your palm, like you're flicking inwards, like this. So, do all of those 4 fingers together, the thumb and those 3 fingers. You're gonna pluck down with your thumb, and up with your 3 fingers, all together. And the point here is, with the thumbs up method, you can pluck only the strings you want at the same time, as opposed to... And another thing is, when you're doing a strum, let's say for example, a normal C major. You have to be very careful not to hit that low E string. But let's say you weren't careful. It doesn't sound good. So you have to be really careful only to hit that A string down. But with the thumbs up method, you can literally only play the strings that you want. So much cleaner. Another thing you can do with the thumbs up method, you don't have to play all of the strings at the same time. You can play them in sequence. For example, you can play your thumb first, then your index, then your middle, then your ring in sequence and create an arpeggio. You can play it faster. It's a really nice thing to do. Now, another thing you can do is interchange between playing the thumb first and the three fingers second in a rhythm. This pattern is very popular in older country songs. So for example, playing an E major, this is what I would do. I'd play the thumb first on the low E string. Then I'm playing the D, G, and B strings with my index, middle, and ring finger right after and all together. So check it out. And you want to make sure that the movement between the thumb and the fingers is equally timed and spaced. So an example of a song that uses this is Folsom Prison Blues by Johnny Cash. And he's using the same thumbs up method, but with a little bit more movement. And what he's doing here is interchanging between the low E string, then the fingers, and then the A string and the fingers. It creates a very cool movement in the rhythm. So there's a general rule that you can follow, although it's not always the case. But if the root of your chord is on the low E string, then you can do this exact rhythm and interchange where the thumb goes between the E and the A. So thumb first on the low E string, then the fingers pluck up, then go to the A string with your thumb, and then the fingers again. If you do it in sequence, there's the movement. So whenever the root is on the low E string, you can do this. For example, an A major, E style, with the root on the 5th fret of the low E string. It works. Alternatively, if the root of the chord is on the A string, like for example an A major, then you can play the A string first, then the fingers, and then take your thumb and play the low E string, and then the fingers. So it sounds like this. Another example of that is C major, A style with the root on the 3rd fret. Creates such a nice little movement. Now, as mentioned, you can also play the thumbs up method with your fingers on the high strings, the G, B, and E string. It just sounds a little brighter because you're playing the higher strings at a higher frequency, as opposed to where I'm playing the D, G, and B strings. Sounds brighter, not as bright. Sounds brighter. You can do both. There you go. Have some fun playing around with the thumbs up method and see what you come up with in this form. Can you think of any songs that use the thumbs up method? Leave a comment below and let us know. A great song that I play all the time that utilizes and builds upon the thumbs up method is Jose Feliciano's incredible cover of Light My Fire by The Doors. I'll send you off with a bit of it. Enjoy playing.